JJ here from Vision Labs, and this is an entire video about landing pages versus items. And you have to really understand these three relations if you want to have a solid reporting structure. Otherwise, you're going to start mixing things and the team will understand. You're going to have product asking the data team and the marketing team about why this page is working when they're talking about landing pages. And you make sure that you have the entire reporting system tied back to what you expect to happen. Understanding how this works is the most impactful thing that can happen. So let's talk about these landing pages and building out a user journey from them. So you have your person, here's your person, right? And they come to your landing page and we say, hey, they now hit your page. They came from an ad, who knows what. Well, then they do things, right? So for example, let's just build this out. And they say first thing that they did was they viewed the page, right? So the session, they triggered a page view. Then what happens is they then go to another page, right? So that triggers a second page view, right? Page view 2. And then they view your product. And we're just going to keep going here. So they viewed your product next. And then lastly, let's just say that they purchased. All right. So lastly, they purchased. Okay. This is a journey, right? So they did this all on the page. So when you are talking about a landing page, what you are actually looking at when you talk about visualizing a landing page is you're looking at the first page view of a session. So the first page view of a session is what a landing page is. That can get very confusing when you're talking about with products, right? Because sometimes you have dedicated landing pages that do not have a product on them. They don't have something to buy on them. So you basically are going from this landing page and then they go to view your product, and that's one and the same thing. Another way you can think about this is when you go to view a landing page, right? They were tying all of the actions that you would like to back to that landing page. So say, for example, somebody viewed 10 products, right? So there's two ways of looking at that. One way is that you have they went to your landing page and then in their session, right? Because remember, a landing page is tied to your sessions. Within that session, you then had, for example, they viewed 10 products. Or another option of this would be that they did view a product, because that session did in fact view a product, right? And so these two different scenarios, right, of saying your landing page viewed 10 products, meaning that one session occurred 10 different products or 10 different times the product was viewed, or the fact that the landing page triggered within that session someone who viewed a product. Where things start to get more complicated is when does your page, and any page is a landing page. I just need to confirm that because any page can be a landing page. Sometimes brands like to say this is a dedicated landing page, which is true, right? You should try to have the best synchronicity between your ads, your landing pages, and your entire experience. But from a web analytics point of view, every page could be a landing page. So what could happen is that, so here's page 1, right? This is now your landing page. They then go and they take from this page and they go here and they then view your product. What happens if this page, right? What happens if this page actually has a product on it? So imagine if this dedicated landing page has a product. Well, now 100% of people, right, 100% of sessions that hit this page have viewed the product. So this landing page has a 100% success rate, which would be different compared to a second page that would be about maybe your about page or something else that doesn't have a product actually on it. That is a problem that people often look at when they're comparing apples to apples, right? Does your landing page have an item, and is it triggering that item event? And are you actually optimizing for that synchronicity between landing page and the item? With a lot of places, they have dedicated landing pages that actually trigger those view items. You really have to understand how that works. All right, now we have another thing called items. So let's just look at this very simply, and I'm going to move this over to be saying, hey, here are items in general. And let's take a look at this and say, okay, we have the view item event. I'm going to put view item as just this example here. And then we're going to move over here and we're going to say we're going to have a purchase event of that item. So this item, let's say that we have this one item that is called blue phone case. Give you a quick hint if you want to guess what color my phone case is. And they viewed the item and they purchase. And so what usually happens is where you have 100 people viewed the item, and then you had 4 people who purchased, or 4 purchases of that item. Not quantity, just purchases, true or false, of that item. The thing that you have to run into, right, is are you looking at the sessions of the view item or the sessions or the actual number of view items occurred? Some brands like to put their products everywhere. They're on the homepage, they're on the about page, they're on their PDPs. So that view item can be triggered at multiple times. But if you want to know a true item viewed to cart, you can look at the number of view items and then look at the number of purchases of that item. And now you have a conversion rate here of 4%. If you then extrapolate this to our landing page conversation, so remember we have landing pages, we've got pages, and we've got items. If we then extrapolate this out, we do one more step before, and we say that there's a landing page that does not have a product on it, right? It's just saying, hey, we're super great. We have these really cool backpacks or these really cool phone cases. Hey, do you want the phone case? Here we go. And let's see what that looks like, right? So here, this connects to this. And let's just say that there was 150. I'm making my math easier. There are 200 people. So here we then have 50% of people that continue from here. And then what last thing that we have is we have then 2% of the overall conversion rate. So this changes the equation, right? Your conversion rate of your item is 4%. If they viewed the item, they convert at 4%. But your site conversion rate is a landing page, or the number of sessions, right? Sessions here. So sessions, 200 sessions. That's how that landing page. To that, and then 2 purchases. So that's 2% overall, your e-commerce store. So to recap this, is your landing page is every single page of your site. The first page view of a session is a landing page. You can then tie every action on a website. Doesn't matter how many distant they are. In that session, they will all be attributed back to that landing page. So this purchase, back to that landing page. When you then have products, right, the items, you then have pages and products. And so within any one page, you might have that product, or you might have the situation down here where you have a landing page without a product actually on it. And that then becomes something like this. So when you're trying to optimize your store, when you're trying to improve your conversion rate, when you're trying to understand the flow of users and the synchronicity you have between your ads, your products, etc., ask yourself these 2 questions. 1, are we looking at our landing pages and where the traffic is coming from to that, and then the outcomes that they are being achieved? That looks like this. So you'll have a conversion rate for each of these steps tied to that landing page. The second thing is look at this down here. Look at your view items and purchases. So every single product, you should see how many people are viewing it, how many sessions are viewing it, and how many sessions are purchasing that. That gives you your item conversion rate. And lastly, you can then say your landing pages to your items, to your purchases, and you can have an entire conversion rate. And then one more thing you'll have before this is your traffic sources, right? So this is have your traffic sources of your ads or your organic or your email, etc. And so these can dramatically affect if you send people to here or if you're sending people to here. And so that is how you can talk about landing pages, items, and purchases and pages in a very educated way that makes sense to you, the stakeholders, and the entire team. So hopefully that makes sense.